162 game season was received well, so I figured I was in the clear to cause mass suffering to the NFL once more. But don't worry NFLPA, this time you only have to play 82. Today's video will fuse the NFL and NBA together following basketball's alignment, regular season, play-in tournament, and of course, the playoffs. Let's talk realignment first, as there is no realignment. You see, these are the NBA divisions, and I like to imagine that today is how old a lot of you are when you figured out that they're NBA divisions. They don't really mean much other than regular season scheduling and a very niche tiebreaker, so that being said, the NFL divisions won't really matter today as well. I will, however, use the NFL divisions for a tiebreaker if needed. Instead, it's all about placement in your conference, and this is how the NBA does it. The top 6 seeds will make the playoffs following 82 games. 7 through 10, however, will make the play-in tournament, which I'll touch up on later. As for 11 through 16, that is the tanking territory. And not only am I keeping track of all NFL team standings, but as well as a total of 27 offensive players, which I'll use to determine an 82-game season MVP and Rookie of the Year. That includes 10 quarterbacks in Mahomes, Allen, Lamar, Burrow, Brock Purdy, Jared Goff, CJ Stroud, Jalen Hurts, Kirk Cousins, and Jordan Love. We have 5 running backs with Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley, Christian McCaffrey, Josh Jacobs, and Bijan Robinson. 5 receivers with Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Tyreek Hill, CeeDee Lamb, and Amon-Ra St. Brown. And then our competitors for an 82-game season Rookie of the Year, we have Jaden Daniels, Bo Nix, Drake May, Caleb Williams, Malik Neighbors, Marvin Harrison Jr., and Brian Thomas Jr. No defensive players today because usually their numbers are very inconsistent after long simulations. And speaking of simulation, let's begin our 82-game season. As we jump up to week 8, we have a co-aligning with the NBA and current events. The Buffalo Bills are starting their 82-game season 8-0, but just like in the NBA, we have a team, the Cleveland Cavaliers, who are currently 13-0 at the time of recording. Second best team goes to the Ravens at 7-1. Steelers as well are 7-1. Eagles are the best in the NFC at 6-1. I see Madden is still hating on the Minnesota Vikings for literally no reason at all. Looks like the Chiefs couldn't convert the power of black magic over the Madden. And as for the Bengals, they're finally able to win one-score games. As for some stats, Joe Burrow is the best passer in the league right now with 2,500 yards, 20 touchdowns, and only 3 interceptions. This is essentially him in real life as well. The only difference is he has a losing record, but Josh Allen as well doing really good. 2,000 for 17 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. Brock Purdy always performs really well in Madden. He has 2,000 yards for 18 touchdowns and 5 picks. Josh Jacobs is currently the best rusher with 739 yards and 8 touchdowns. And Tyreek Hill is the best receiver with 702 yards and 5 touchdowns. This is game number 9 for the Buffalo Bills. Can they keep it up to 9-0? They gotta stop Tua from getting this first down. It's 3rd and 19. Not even close. Jonnu Smith only picks up 5. Will they be able to put up 3 on the board? This kick is very low and it sails right. No good. Just need a couple first downs here to end this game. 3rd and 2. First down. Another handoff. This one goes right up the gut for another first down. Dolphins are calling timeouts. Passing on 3rd down and 8. First down. The Dolphins are not even getting the football back. And the Bills will keep the streak rolling. They're now 9-0. And the Bills will walk out of Indianapolis in week 10. They are now 10-0. But now it's time for the true test. Can they make it 11-0 against the Kansas City Chiefs? I'd like to imagine 11-0 is in their grasp. 4th and 13. This is a first down to the 6-yard line. I mean, maybe Kansas City can get on the board with a touchdown, which they will not. Intercepted. Patrick Mahomes throws an interception and the Bills will be 11-0. Rasul Douglas. And I'm going to go ahead and simulate to the end of the season. I doubt they go 17-0 to start the season, but let's just see. If you're wondering what the best ever start to an NBA season is, it's the Golden State Warriors who went 24-0 in 2016-2017. We all know what happened that year. The Bills will finish their first 17 games going 15-2. Still really good. The Eagles are up there with 14-3. Ravens had the exact same record. At least Madden is getting one thing right. The Titans are going 2-15. I'd like to imagine Joe Burrow is the best quarterback in the league right now through 17 games, 5,000 yards, 47 touchdowns, and only 5 interceptions. Mahomes did pretty good too. 4,500 yards, 47-7. I'm not keeping track of them, but I just had to show this. Anthony Richardson threw 31 interceptions. Josh Jacobs finished off with a rushing title through 17 games, 1,500 yards, and 19 touchdowns. Tyreek Hill still the best receiver out of the ones I'm keeping track of, 110 catches for 1,400 yards, 10 touchdowns. Jamar Chase did pretty solid as well. And same goes for Amon-Ra St. Brown. Yes, I know. In the intro, I said NFL divisions don't matter, but don't worry. I'm just showing this so you can have an idea of what the NFL divisions would look like if we kept them the same for an 82-game season. So here's the AFC right now. If we were to have division leaders, it would be the Bills, Ravens, Texans, and Chiefs. Like I said, it doesn't matter at the end of the day, because once we get to around mid-season, I'll start showing you this graphic, which will be the playoff race and the play-in tournament race as well. But for now, we'll just look at it in NFL divisions. Now, same story for the NFC. We've gone through 17 games, which is one season's worth of the NFL. Our division leaders right now are the Lions, Eagles, Falcons, and Cardinals. I doubt that stands, but we have a lot more games to play. Let's do our next simulation. So now we're jumping up to game 34. Let's see if we have another team going a long winning streak like the Bills. The Niners were the best team in this stretch, as they're going to bring in 13 wins, bringing them to a record of 21-13. 13. The Bills are still looking very impressive through 34 games. They're going to add 12 more wins. They are now 27-7. The Ravens as well, they're playing a little catch-up, also at 27-7. The Panthers, however, have yet to get over 5 wins. They are currently 4-30. And finally, a little respect to the Vikings, but they're still going to be 15-19 after game 34. So through 34 games, the best quarterback is Joe Burrow, throwing for 9,169 yards with 86 touchdowns and 23 interceptions. Mahomes is not too far behind, and he's been very proficient with the football, also throwing for over 9,000 yards with 80 touchdowns and only 15 interceptions. You know who's also been really good at taking care of the football? Brock Purdy, with 8,300 yards, 86 touchdowns, and the least amount of interceptions through any quarterback so far with 13. The best runner so far is Saquon Barkley with 2,400 yards, 34 touchdowns, and the most impressive part, not even 500 attempts yet. Receiving wise, Amon-Ra St. Brown takes the crown right now with 2,700 yards and 31 touchdowns with 175 receptions. We'll look more into our rookies later, but I want to bring up the struggles of Drake May right now, who's thrown for 6,000 yards, but he has more interceptions thrown with touchdowns with 42 picks and 35 TDs. So now let's take a look back at our standings. Our worst teams in the AFC go to the Titans and Raiders. They have 6 and 7 wins respectively. Then we go to our third place teams, up to the second place teams with some pretty solid additions, and our division leaders haven't changed much. The Ravens and Bills are tied at 27 wins, Texans at 22, the Chiefs have 24. Nothing too surprising here. It's good to see the Steelers and Broncos also in competition, but the Bengals especially, considering they actually have a winning record, even though not by much. Now looking at the NFC side, we already talked about the Carolina Panthers. They have the worst record right now with 4-30, and we'll go up to some third place teams, a lot of 14-20 teams, the Vikings up to 15-19. Second place teams, the Green Bay Packers have 21 wins, the best team in second place. Division leaders, still the Lions, Eagles, Falcons, and 49ers now making the cut. They have 21 wins. But the best team in the NFC right now goes to the Eagles at half of a 50 at 25-9. Now I'm simulating up to game 51. We'll just call this the mid-season mark of the video. The first team to make it over 40 wins, the Baltimore Ravens, currently sitting at 41-10 after going 14-3 in this 17 stretch of games. But not too far behind is the Philadelphia Eagles, winning 15 of their last 17 to be at a record of 40-11. The Chiefs are clawing their way back in the competition. They now hold a 2 seed in the AFC at 39-12. I'm very surprised that Madden is this high on the Jets, but to be fair, Aaron Rodgers is also very high on the Jets. They are 32-19. Kind of some mid-season struggles for the Houston Texans. They're just one game over 500 at 26-25. But to be fair, it could look a lot worse, like the Las Vegas Raiders, who are sitting at 13-38. Let's show some more respect in the NFC of the Detroit Lions, who hold the number 2 seed. They're currently 37-14. But let's also show as much disrespect as possible to the Dallas Cowboys, who are 18-33. But to be fair, they don't have Dak Prescott. Actually, by saying that sentence, you feel like they would be better. Now let's talk about mid-season best players. I would say the MVP is still Joe Burrow. He's now up to 14,000 yards, 127 passing touchdowns, and 31 interceptions. However, not too far behind is Lamar Jackson. Reason being is because I'm keeping track of his rushing stats, and thank the Lord I did. He currently has 11,000 passing yards, 81 passing touchdowns, and 25 interceptions, but the rushing game is where it changes, as he has 2,148 yards, but 50 rushing touchdowns. And I'd say Brock Purdy is number 3 in MVP race just because of his ratio right now. He's 12,000 passing yards, 122 passing touchdowns, and only 18 interceptions. Crazy. Rushing wise, the crown is still going to Saquon Barkley. He's up to 3,800 yards with 50 rushing touchdowns and 784 attempts. Same goes for receiving. It's still Amon-Ra St. Brown at the top with 4,300 receiving yards, 48 touchdowns, and 289 catches. Let's talk disappointment for a second, and that's going to be CeeDee Lamb. To be fair, I do think he's a top 5 receiver in the league. He is playing with Cooper Rush as his quarterback, which explains his stats at the moment. Another disappointment this time in the run game is going to be Bijan Robinson, really making me wish I kept track of Joe Mixon or somebody else. He only has 2,700 rushing yards, and he's only made the end zone 8 times. And I'd say our leading Rookie of the Year candidate is probably going to be Bo Nix, who's currently at 1,100 yards, 91 touchdowns, and 34 interceptions. Now we can start talking about playoff race. We have a new graphic to talk about. Let's start with our teams that are out of the race at the moment. Our 11 through 16 in the AFC right here goes to the Jaguars, Browns, Titans, Colts, Patriots, and Raiders. Now moving up to the teams currently in a play-in position, 7 through 10. At 10 is the LA Chargers at 25-26. At 9, the Houston Texans. And then 8, the Miami Dolphins. And 7, the Denver Broncos, who currently are both at 27-24. But if the playoffs were to begin today, these 6 teams are locks automatically. It's going to be the Steelers at 6, Jets at 5, Bengals at 4, Bills at 3, Chiefs at 2, and the Ravens at 1. Same goes for the NFC, our 11 through 16, who are out of contention right now. It's going to be the Cardinals, Bears, Saints, Cowboys, Cowboys, Giants, and Panthers. And then for our play-in teams 7 through 10, we have the Rams at 22 and 29. So are the Seahawks at 9. Then you have the 8, the Minnesota Vikings, and the number 7, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. These play-in teams look really bad right now. At least in the AFC, we have teams close or above 500. And then our current playoff teams in NFC, 6 are the Commanders, 5 are the Falcons, 4 are the Packers, 3 are the Niners, 2 are the Lions, and 1 the Philadelphia Eagles. We're closing in on the regular season. Let's get up to game 68. Well, we're starting to get our first wave of clinches, starting with the Baltimore Ravens, who have been absolutely dominant. They are 56 and 12 through 68 games. Staying in the AFC, the Chiefs as well, just 4 games worse, but still 52 and 16 for Kansas City. However, Buffalo is right on their tail with exactly 52 wins as well. The Texans made a great rebound and are now sitting at 37 and 31. And in the NFC, we have a couple clinches with the Eagles, the only team over 50 in the NFC at 50 and 18, and then the Detroit Lions, who are 46 and 22. Now, I'm going to shed some love to the players that I have not been talking about. Let's start with Josh Allen, who is just under 17,000 passing yards for 132 touchdowns. I've also been keeping track of his rushing stats, however, not as good as Lamar, still pretty solid with 2,200 yards and 30 rushing touchdowns. Jared Goff has had a pretty solid campaign so far, 17,000 yards, 130 touchdowns, and 42 interceptions. And I wanted to stat track Jordan Love because I wanted to see his touchdowns and interceptions equal at the end of this video, but I guess he's playing more like Aaron Rodgers today rather than Brett Favre. And how about the other 2 running backs you haven't seen yet? Josh Jacobs, really solid, 5,100 yards, 49 touchdowns, just over 1,000 carries. Derrick Henry, however, still the king, 5,100 yards, 62 touchdowns, 953 carries, a lot less than Jacobs and Barkley. There really hasn't been a receiver close to the dominance of Amon-Ra St. Brown. Jamar Chase is second. He has under 5,000 yards, 36 touchdowns, and 413 receptions. But I'll give a little credit to Brian Thomas Jr., who's been the best rookie wide receiver I've been keeping track of with 4,055 yards, 26 touchdowns, and 306 catches. 14 games to go. It's time to reveal our updated playoff race. Let's go and reveal 11 through 16. Not much has changed. However, we have our first officially eliminated team, the Raiders, at 18 and 50. Do not have a chance at the playoffs, don't even have a chance at the play-in. Let's take a look at the play-in, however, 7 through 10. I don't think these teams change, however, they are all above 500 now. You can see the Dolphins, Steelers, Chargers, and Broncos, all pretty decent records. The AFC is really going to be a bloodbath to see who can find their way into the playoffs or the play-in. Let's start the playoffs. Currently, where we're at right now, the 6 is the Texans, who've climbed their way up to 37-31. The Jets are still holding in the top 5 with 40 wins. The Bengals at 4, and then we have 3 clinches, like I said, the Bills at 3, the Chiefs at 2, and the Ravens 4 games ahead right now at 1. The NFC, however, is a completely different story. As I'll go ahead and reveal the out of contention teams, you can see the Carolina Panthers at 16. They are 17 and 51. If they were in the AFC, they were long eliminated. They still have a chance at the play-in tournament. Matter of fact, every single team does, up to the Saints, Cowboys, Seahawks, Giants, and even the Bears are even tied with the 10th spot right now. The current play-in tournament of the NFC is awful. Not a single team is over 500. The Cardinals at 10, Vikings 9, Rams 8, Buccaneers 7. The best teams are 30 and 38. It's funny because this almost co-aligns with the Eastern Conference and the real NBA. It is just very mid. At least for the 6 teams that are destined to make the playoffs, they're all over 500. The Commanders at 6, the Packers are at 5, Falcons 4, 3 are the Niners, and then 2 clinches so far the NFC, starting with the Detroit Lions at 2 and the 50-win Philadelphia Eagles at 1. Alright, so I stopped the simulation at game 80 because we have some possible clinching scenarios. Let's start in the AFC. The 6th seed now belongs to the Pittsburgh Steelers, who have gone 8 and 3 in their last 11 games with a 44-35 record, which means the Houston Texans have fallen down to the 7th seed in the play-in tournament. They're at 44 and 36, only 1 more loss. Not every single team has played through game 80 quite yet, but if we look at our playoff race and the AFC, you can see 11 through 16 all eliminated. None of them have a chance to make the play-in tournament anymore. We do have 1 clinch in the play-in. That's the Denver Broncos, and then we have 5 teams up for grabs for certain positions, 5 through 9. It's definitely going to come down to game 82 to see what teams make the playoffs or will have to settle for the play-in. Now let's talk NFC, and this is completely wild. The Chicago Bears have made their way up to the 8th seed in the NFC, clinching a play-in spot because they are 8 and 3 in their last 11 games. Even with a record of 36 and 43, they've clinched the play-in. But you want to know what's definitely helped them? The collapse of the Minnesota Vikings, who have lost 9 games out of their 11 played. They're 31 and 48. They're now down to 10 in the NFC. Same same goes for the Arizona Cardinals. They are 12 in the NFC. They lost 9 of their last 11. They're sitting at 30 and 49. They are currently out of a play-in position. Now, who is 11? The New York Giants. I can't believe this, but the Giants are in play-in contention at the 11th seed in the NFC. In case you haven't figured it out yet, the NFC is complete dog. We have 3 eliminations so far, 16, 15, 14. They don't have a chance. Every single team 1 through 6 has already clinched the playoffs, and it's crazy that the Washington Commanders can literally go negative and still clinch a playoff spot in the 6th seed. And like I was saying, the Bears have clinched a play-in at 8. The Rams are at 7 right now. Those can definitely change, but what we have left is 5 teams fighting for 2 spots in the play-in tournament. And this is game 81 against the Jaguars for the Houston Texans. And they are getting blown out by the Jaguars, who are eliminated. They have nothing to prove. They just beat them 31-10. All the Steelers have to do now is win 1 or 2 games. They will steal away that 6th seed from the Houston Texans. And the Steelers take care of business in game 80 themselves. Not a good look for Houston. I didn't even realize this, but the Cardinals and Vikings actually end up playing each other game number 80. Very big win for the Cardinals. Let me go ahead and simulate to the game 82s because this might get a little confusing. So, all 82 games have been played. It's time for the final reveal of the full standings, starting with the AFC. The very worst team was the Las Vegas Raiders, finishing 22-16 at the 16th seed. Not too much movement in the eliminated territory, however. The Titans at 15, Titans 14, then the Browns, the Colts, and the Jaguars 1 spot out at 11. As for the play-in tournament, the Denver Broncos will find their way to the 10 seed, finishing 42-30, but their AFC West rivals right above them 1 game better, the LA Chargers at 43-39. The Miami Dolphins have found their way to the 8th seed at a positive record of 44-38, and because the Houston Texans lost out, they fell out of the playoffs and have to settle with a 7th seed in the play-in tournament with a record of 44-38. Now for the playoff teams in the AFC, starting with the 6th seed, the New York Jets, which I cannot believe are this good in a Madden simulation. They're 46-36. The 5 seeds, the Pittsburgh Steelers, who we saw win both their final 2 games, take over the Texans spot. Matter of fact, they jumped the Jets in the process to get the 5. But the 4 seed, another AFC North team, the Cincinnati Bengals at 49-33. Now the top 3 seeds in the AFC are not even close to anybody. They're on a whole different level. The Buffalo Bills, 63-19. That is 14 games better than the Cincinnati Bengals at 4. Number 2, the Chiefs are 64-18, 1 game better, but the number 1 team, the Baltimore Ravens, are 68-14. And fun fact, that's the same record the Boston Celtics had last year in the NBA when they won the NBA Finals. Now let's take a look at the awful NFC. 16, also the same record. The Carolina Panthers finished 22-60, the worst team in the NFC. Then you have the Saints, the Cowboys, who finished 30-52 with Cooper Rush, their quarterback. Then the Minnesota Vikings, who are always very disappointing in Madden simulations. They finished at the 13th seed. I did mention the Giants have a chance. Well, not anymore. They finished 1 game better than the Vikings. And the Arizona Cardinals choked away a play-in tournament position. They fall to the 11 at 32-50. But let's talk about this play-in tournament. It's not much better than what we've already seen. The 10 seed is just 1 game better than the Cardinals. The Seattle Seahawks made the play-in at 33-49. What's crazy is that this team has a chance to win it all. Not much better is the Buccaneers at 9, who are 35-47. The 8th seed is the Chicago Bears at 37-45, and the Rams at 7 with the same record. All of these teams are under 500. The AFC, completely different story. At least we have some good things to look forward to in the NFC playoff picture. The number 6 seed is the Washington Commanders. At least they finished at 500 at 41-41. Then you have the Falcons at 47 wins, the Packers at 49, Lions at 3 with 53, Niners 1 game better at 54, and the number 1 seed, the Philadelphia Eagles, at 59-23. And as I've said multiple times, the divisions don't matter, but I figured I'd show you this one more time just to show you what it would look like if we kept the NFL divisions intact for an 82-game season. You can see it kind of works out perfectly, as most division winners will make the playoffs anyways, except for one case. The AFC South was awful. The Houston Texans, who won their division, didn't even get a playoff spot. They had to settle with the play-in at 44-38. But truth be told, the best 10 teams from the conference are still moving on. It still works out perfectly, just how it would work like in a normal format using these divisions. And then our final standings for the NFC, a lot of weird teams in last place. The Vikings, Cowboys, and Cardinals. Then our third place teams, you have some play-in teams with the Bears and Seahawks. Second place, some clinches, the Packers, Commanders, and then our division leaders, the Lions, Eagles, Falcons, and 49ers. Now before we get to postseason, let's talk about statistics. We'll have CJ Stroud as the 10th rated quarterback today. And even though he is the rated the last quarterback, all stats are going to be good. 20,000 yards, 151 touchdowns, and 66 interceptions. That's really high numbers. Moving on up to 9th place is Kirk Cousins, who has less yards, more touchdowns, but he also has more interceptions, which brings him to the 9th spot. Of course, a huge talking point of Jordan Love this season is his turnovers. He's been turning over the football a little too much. much, and yes, that happened here. He threw 70 interceptions, which gives him the 8th rated quarterback in today's video. And only at 7 quarterbacks, we're starting to get to the good ones. Jared Goff threw for almost 21,000 yards for 156 touchdowns and 52 interceptions, but a 70% completion rating. Now, even though Jalen Hurts has lower numbers than Jared Goff, he comes above him because he has more quality passes. He's almost thrown about 300 less passes than Jared Goff, and he also has almost a 70% completion rating as well. Now, we've reached the top 5, and you can make a case for any of these top 5 quarterbacks to be MVP. Brock Purdy, as we know, started out really fast in this video. He was very proficient with the football, and that stayed the same here. He threw for 186 touchdowns and only 39 interceptions. But the other 4 quarterbacks have caught up to him. That begins with Lamar Jackson, and you'll have to see the top 3 just to see my point proven. He threw for 18,000 yards, 118 passing touchdowns, and 40 interceptions with a really good completion percentage. But what made him really good today was 78 rushing touchdowns. I feel like you should deserve MVP for that case. But however, I think there was 3 quarterbacks who put up more touchdowns than him. Starting with 3rd place, that's going to be Patrick Mahomes. He almost threw for 22,000 yards today, 193 touchdowns, and 39 interceptions. So better numbers than Brock Purdy. I think he was very proficient with the football, more than Brock Purdy. And what made him really good is his completion percentage, 75.3. That is unheard of in the NFL, mainly unheard of in an 82-game stretch like this. And in 2nd place, it's going to be Josh Allen. Now, he passed the football better than Lamar. He didn't run the football better, but add them together, it's better than Lamar, and that puts him at 2nd place. He has the most touchdowns of any quarterback, I believe 209 in total. But other than that, almost 21,000 yards, 44 interceptions, almost 3,000 rushing yards, a really good season for Josh Allen. But who comes first? It's gotta be Joe Burrow. Like I said, you can make a case for anyone to be MVP in the top 5, but the reason why I give the Burrow is because he had the most passing yards with 22,000, most passing touchdowns with 203, and he had 43 interceptions, which is respectable, and he had a 72.6% completion rating. Really solid numbers. Like I said, anyone could be MVP, but I had to give it to Joe Burrow here. Now let's talk run game, and like I said earlier, Bijan Robinson was a disappointment. Not even 5,000 yards, not even 1,000 attempts, and only 20 touchdowns. Are these seriously an accurate representation of what Bijan Robinson would put up in 82 games? I don't think so. Same goes for Christian McCaffrey, who finished 4th, but to be fair, I think Madden probably thought he was injured most of the season, which he basically was. He has 5,000 yards, 60 touchdowns, also under 1,000 attempts, averaging 5 yards per carry and 62 yards per game. Now the top 3 running backs co-aligns with real life. Josh Jacobs is number 3 with 6,100 yards, 57 touchdowns, 1,200 attempts, averaging almost 5 yards per carry and 75 yards per game. It's actually a little bit different here because Saquon Barkley definitely the best running back in the league right now. He's 2nd in running backs in this simulation with 6,200 yards, 81 touchdowns, 1,200 attempts, 5.1 yards per carry. But I'm giving the rushing crown to Derrick Henry. Yes, I know he has less yards than Saquon Barkley, but he also has way less attempts, higher yards per carry, and much more yards per game. Also with 79 touchdowns, that's only 200 Saquon Barkley, I believe. Now for receivers, once again, another disappointment. Cooper Rush was this quarterback. CeeDee Lamb had 4,200 yards, 22 touchdowns, and just over 300 catches. I was very surprised with the Justin Jefferson performance today. Also very surprised with the Vikings in total. With 5,000 yards, only 24 touchdowns and 438 receptions. I think these would be much higher in a real 82-game simulation or run for Justin Jefferson. 3rd best receiver goes to Tyreek Hill with 5,700 yards, 37 touchdowns, 460 receptions. 2nd place goes to Jamar Chase with 5,800 yards, 43 touchdowns, and just under 500 receptions. And on a whole different planet than every other wide receiver we kept track of today, Amon-Ra St. Brown with 7,000 yards, 78 touchdowns, and he had way less receptions than I believe who was in 2nd place, which was Jamar Chase. He also almost averaged 15 yards per catch and 86 yards per game, and with those 78 touchdowns, I mean, he made up for over half of Jared Goff's passing touchdowns today. Now let's talk rookies. I grouped the rookie quarterbacks differently than the actual quarterbacks to make it fair for the rookie of year competition. So 7th place in the rookies, easily Drake May. This was probably the worst performance today. He almost threw the same amount of touchdowns and interceptions at 107 and 90. His yards were very low, and his completion percentage was low as well, but to be fair, he is a rookie. I'm not expecting the world out of him. 6th place will go to Malik Neighbors with 4,300 yards, 16 touchdowns, 335 receptions. Another receiver for 5th place in the rookies is going to be Marvin Harrison Jr. with 4,100 yards, 24 touchdowns, 309 receptions. 4th place for rookie of the year contention is going to go to Caleb Williams, who finished at 126 touchdowns, 74 interceptions. And then 3rd place for the rookies, Brian Thomas Jr., who was better than some actual receivers today. He had 4,700 yards, 30 touchdowns, 359 catches. But now our top 2, you can honestly say they're kind of interchangeable as well. Bo Nix finished with 151 touchdowns, 73 interceptions, and 18,000 yards. But our rookie of the year through 82 games will have to go to Jaden Daniels. It definitely helps I kept track of his rushing stats as well, because in total, 140 touchdowns through the ground and air, 67 interceptions, and he had the best completion percentage out of any rookie at 67.8. So now we can start finally talking about the play-in tournament. If you don't understand it, let me try to break it down. So, as we already know, 7 through 10 will make the play-in. As I've said repeatedly in this video, we'll have 2 matchups in the first round of the play-in tournament. The 9 will play the 10, and the 7 will play the 8. The 7 versus 8 matchup, the winner of that game automatically makes in the playoffs as the 7 seed. The loser is not eliminated quite yet. It relies on the 9 and 10 matchup. The winner of the 9 and 10 will play the loser of the 7-8, whereas the loser of the 9-10 automatically eliminated. They only have one chance to get in. And then you'll get to this game in the middle. Like I said, the winner of 9 and 10, the loser of 7-8, the winner of that game moves up to become the number 8 seed in the playoffs. So now let's fill it in for the teams. Let's start with the AFC. The 9 versus 10 will be the Chargers versus Broncos, and the 7 versus 8 will be the Texans versus Dolphins. As for the NFC, it's going to be the Buccaneers versus the Seahawks at 9 and 10, and 7-8 is the Rams versus Bears. So now let's finally start some simulating games with the play-in tournament. We're starting in the AFC, the Chargers and Broncos must-win game. And so finally, the play-in tournament. Matter of fact, this video is taking me so long that my pubescent mustache is starting to get its wings. And a reminder that this is the elimination game, the 9 versus 10 seed. This is going to be another incompletion for 3rd and 10 upcoming. If LA can't get this first down, they have to rely on their defense, and this is going to be well short of the markers. It's going to be 4th and 4. And this is a very hardball decision right here. They get the first down, passing on 4th and 4. What a gamble. They get it to midfield. I mean, that's a next level trust of your offense. They've only scored 9 points this game. I figured they'd give it back to their defense, but their offense will completely fail here. 2nd and 24, loss of 14 yards. Now down to 50 seconds. This looks like the Chicago Bears on Thanksgiving, and this is going to be 4th and 28. Another sack by Sanders. Just to think this team had the ball at midfield not long ago, and now it's incomplete. A turnover on downs, and they really should have punted the football there in the first place. And after that total offensive collapse of the 9 seed, the 10 seed Broncos are moving on. The Chargers eliminated. So the Broncos are moving on in the play-in tournament. They will meet the loser of the 7 versus 8, the Texans and Dolphins. Late here in the 4th quarter between the 7 and 8, this is a 3rd down and 7 for the Houston Texans. Winner of this game gets the 7 seed in the AFC. It's going to be close. It's going to be 4th down and 1. Do they go for it or do they take the points? They're going to play it safe, which means the Dolphins will get the football back, tied up at 24 with 6 minutes remaining. From the 25-yard line, Tua starts with a completion to Jalen Waddle to the 45, gain of 20. A 3rd and long 8 for the Miami Dolphins at the 42-yard line. Can Houston get the football back? Tua drops back. He drops back to the 43-yard line, throws it up for Tyreek Hill. It's a touchdown to take the lead by 6. Now Stroud's going to drop back, and he throws on the run. He delivers a dart for a first down to Nico Collins to the 47. 2nd and 8 on a crossing. This is a first down to Tank Dell. Run after catch gets him to the 28-yard line. Down to a minute and 30 seconds. This time it's a slant pass to Tank Dell. This brings him inside the 5-yard line. First timeout called. Down to 1 minute remaining. 3rd down and goal. Escaping the pocket is CJ Stroud, and he has an angle for the end zone to tie the game at 31 after this extra point. 50 seconds left in regulation for Tua. What a throw on the run as well, as he turns to his opposite shoulder to the 48-yard line is Jalen Waddle. I mean, the Dolphins have a chance to win this in regulation as Tua runs play action, has plenty of time to throw the football. Never mind, he wants to run as he slides for a gain of 8 yards to the 40. And after those few plays with the Dolphins, they're in range to kick a field goal, around a 45-yard kick to clinch the 7th seed in the playoffs. It's good. They win in Houston, and they're moving on. Which now leaves us with the Miami Dolphins playing the Kansas City Chiefs in the playoffs, and then we'll have the Broncos versus Texans. The winner of that gets the 8 seed. But before we get to that, let's head to the NFC for their playing games as well. As for the sucky NFC, the 9 versus 10, both these teams are well negative in their records. It looks like it's going to overtime between the Seahawks and Buccaneers, where the Seahawks had to punt the football away after going 3 and out. Here comes Baker Mayfield to win the game. Well, that's of course if they can get a drive going to around 45 yards. Here goes Rachaad White getting towards the outside to the 50-yard line. They only need about 25 more yards. Of course, this is second possession, so field goal would win the game. Rachaad White takes it again. Another first down. That's like 20 yards per carry he's averaging right now as he gets it to the 34. Rachaad White this time takes it into the end zone, and Baker Mayfield didn't have to do anything. All he had to do was hand the football off 3 times. Rachaad White will win the game for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They're moving on to the play-in. And now for our 7 versus 8. I wonder which heartbreaking way the Bears are going to lose this game. Puka Nacua has a first down to the 36. They just need a field goal to tie this game up, but great infield tackle, a loss of 4 yards. Trying to dump it off the Cooper Kupp does not work. Also down to 60 seconds. Can the Bears defense make some more stops? They will not. This is a first down inside their territory to the 42 to Kyron Williams. They got my fantasy running back doing post routes. I wish they'd do that in real life. 2nd and 5. Can Stafford maybe put a touchdown on the board? Can't take a sack. He fumbles the football. Picked up by an offensive lineman, but now 3rd and 12 with a 44. That just knocked them out of field goal range. They have to make up for those yards. Stafford's just going to throw it out of bounds for 4th and 12 at the 44. Do they go for this? They're going to have to. What a very costly fumble. 4th and 12. Incomplete. Intended for Cooper Kupp. Defense was made there, and the Bears take over on downs. I can't believe I'm saying these 2 words in the same sentence, but the Bears are making the playoffs. That will put Chicago at the 7th seed. They'll be matched up with the San Francisco 49ers. But let's go back to the AFC for our matchup with the Broncos and the Texans. Let's see who gets that 8 seed. The Texans need a 77-yard touchdown drive in the minute and 30 seconds, and that was very close to being intercepted intercepted, almost a jumped route. It's going to be 3rd down and 5. Needing this first down conversion, and CJ Stroud throws it for 4th down in inches, and obviously they'll have to go for it. They're going to pass on 4th down in inches. I don't think they got it. It's 1st down and 10. Broncos football. It's a turnover. Very unfortunate for the Texans. They tried to throw in the flat just to gain inches. Did not work. They went backwards. Now they have to stop the Broncos from getting a first down. It's 2nd in inches now. Madden, for whatever reason, just loves giving team inches. Okay, what? And as a result, the Denver Broncos, the number 10 seed, I kid you not, the Road Warriors will win 2 games, and they've made their way to the playoffs as the 8th seed. So our AFC playoff picture is set. The Broncos will play the Ravens at the 8 versus 1. But let's finish off the play-in tournament with the Buccaneers and Rams fighting for the 8th seed in the NFC. Well, unfortunately, it was not much of a fight. The Buccaneers have some garbage time points, but the Rams made it up 24-0. They allow 16. They will move on to the 8th seed in the NFC. And with that being said, the playoff picture is set. We're down to 16 final teams, 8 in each conference. Now, because this is an NBA format video, the playoffs are also NBA format, which means every single matchup is a best-of-7 series, which means I'm going to do this a little bit differently. We're not going to go over every single game because at a minimum, that's a total of 60, but at a maximum, if every single series goes to a best-of-7, I believe it's 105 games. I imagine none of y'all want to watch that. We've already been through 82 regular season games. I think that's enough. That being said, let's start with our round 1 matchup, starting in the NFC with the Eagles versus Rams. In game 1, the Philadelphia Eagles will take care of the Rams 28-14, and the Green Bay Packers will also take care of business in their game 1, winning 31-14. To my surprise, the Commanders are going to steal one away from Detroit, winning 27-24 with a game-winning field goal. Not too surprised with this one, the Niners will win their game 1, 35-14. And now for the AFC, a dominant game 1 victory for the Ravens, 38-15. And of course, the Bengals defense allows 30+ points to the Steelers. They win game 1. No surprises here, the Bills will win their game 1, 17-3. And of course, the Chiefs find a way to win a 1-score game, 27-21. We'll stay put for all our game 2s as the Eagles will win 31-26. Green Bay will also take a 2-0 series lead, winning 23-20. The Lions with a big bounce back win. They hang 41 points against the Washington Commanders. Another 1-0 series, the Bears will steal one away from San Francisco, winning 31-24. The Ravens will take a 2-0 series lead, winning 34-27. And the Bengals put up 30 points and actually win a game, winning 34-30. The Bills are up 2-0 in the series, winning 28-13 over the Jets. And again, another 1-score victory for the Kansas City Chiefs to bring it to a 2-0 series lead against the Dolphins. And here's a playoff update as our series are shifting to the other team's home side of play. Road games don't matter for the Philadelphia Eagles. They'll take a 3-0 series lead. The Falcons will get a game 3 victory, cutting the series lead down to 2-1. The Lions will take one back from the Commanders, however, as they take a 2-1 series lead. To my surprise, the Bears are taking a 2-1 series lead in Soldier Field. They won 27-26. Going to Denver for game 3, the Broncos will win 28-17. The Steelers will win their home debut in the playoffs against the Bengals, winning 20-17 in game 3. The Bills finish off a 3-0 series lead against the Jets. Can they finish it off with a sweep? The Dolphins still got a little fight in them. They're going to win game 3 against Kansas City. The Rams will prevent the sweep, however. They'll win 33-24. And now the Falcons will even the series in game 4 at 2-2. And that will be 3 straight victories for the Lions, 1 more game to close it out. The Niners, however, will have a dominant answer back in game 4. The Ravens will answer back in game 4, however, winning 21-9. The Bengals are going to take one back from the Pittsburgh Steelers, however, winning a very high-scoring game. And the Buffalo Bills will sweep the New York Jets. I don't really think they deserve to be here anyways. The Chiefs will bounce back in Miami, bringing them to a 3-1 series lead. And so where we stand after all our game 4s, the Buffalo Bills are the only team to sweep. They're moving on to the quarterfinals. Now the NBA format for best of 7s goes like this: 2-2-1-1-1. So for example, the Eagles, we had 2 home games, then it went to Rams for 2 home games. Now it's going to go back to the Eagles for 1 singular home game, back to the Rams if necessary for 1 home game, and then game 7 would be in Philadelphia. But anyways, let's continue with our game 5s, going back to the better team, where some series could end here, in which we will have 1 series close out here. The Eagles will win game 5, 30-27. And then Green Bay goes back to Lambeau. They take a 3-2 series lead over the Falcons. And how about the Lions with a reverse sweep, winning 4 games in a row over the Washington Commanders to close out the series. The Niners will take a 3-2 series lead over Chicago. Denver's not done yet. They'll squeeze out a road victory here against the Ravens in game 5. The Steelers will win game 5. They're 1 game away from moving on. And then as expected, the Chiefs will close out the series, winning 4-1 over the Miami Dolphins. Now as we stand, 4 teams have punched their way to the quarterfinals, including now the Eagles, Lions, and Bills versus Chiefs in the AFC. Let's go back to Atlanta, starting with our first game 6. And Green Bay will go on the road and close out this series in 6, winning 33-25. To my surprise, there will be a game 7 in San Francisco. There will not be a game 7 in Baltimore, however. The Ravens will close out this series in 6. There will be a game 7 in Cincinnati, however, dominant road win for the Bengals. And now we'll have 2 game 7s to accomplish, with the Niners playing the Bears in San Francisco and the Bengals playing the Steelers in Cincinnati. And so in game 7 in San Francisco, Caleb Williams has a chance to put a touchdown on the board and take the lead with with 5 minutes remaining as he hands the football off to DeAndre Swift, who runs for a first down to the 46. Down to 3 minutes from the 40-yard line, Caleb Williams has a first down to DJ Moore into the 14. They're well in range now for a field goal, but they want 6. How they manage the clock is important. Matt Eberflus is fired, so I better not see anything like Thanksgiving. That was a very risky pass. I would not want to give the football back to San Francisco, as almost throwing an interception. Caleb Williams has to be careful. Well, now you're potentially looking at taking a field goal and relying on your defense to make a stop. 3rd down and 10, unless they can somehow get the conversion here, which Williams is going to step up and run, and he will find his way for a gain of 7. 4th and 3. What do they decide to do? I do not hate the call here. They're going to go for it on 4th down and 3. If they can get this, that would be huge. Wide open in the flat is Keenan Allen. 1st and goal at the 1. That was not Keenan Allen. That was DeAndre Carter. Here's a handoff to DeAndre Swift, and he is down at the 1 again. 3rd and goal. I mean, in good news, they're wasting as much time as possible. They better find the end zone in a loss of 8 yards. Why are we running play action at the goal line? And they're going to have to go for it again. What an embarrassing show by the Bears. You had this at the 1-yard line, and now let's just throw an interception to Fred Warner. I seriously can't take this anymore. Even in a Madden simulation, the Bears lose games just how the Bears do in real life. And so the Niners will move on in the playoffs, playing the Lions in the quarterfinals. Now let's head to Cincinnati for the Game 7 between these two AFC North foes. It's a handoff for a 3rd and long by Brown. 17-14 is the current score. Injury timeout stops the clock. I'd say they're in field goal range, but obviously they want to go for 6. That's what Joe Burrow's known for. He finds a curl route, and this is going to be stopped for 4th and 2. Will they take the points? They will, but this will leave the door open for Russell Wilson to win the game. Solid return brings him to the 38-yard line, but a great tackle for a loss of 4 yards against Najee Harris. Now George Pickens goes down with injury. Looks like they'll get a snap off before the 2-minute warning. 3rd and 10 from the 47. Wilson's intercepted by the Bengals. A defensive play is made by the Bengals. I can't believe it, and it's returned to the 38. Now they're in prime position to win this game with 3 points on the run. What a throw by Joe Burrow to the 20. The Steelers were able to survive with a minute and 15 left in the clock. They'll get the football back down by 3. Not done yet, I suppose. They got another playoff. This is 3rd down and 12. Another interception. The Bengals will win Game 7. Well, as far as upsets go, there was none. All higher seed teams won their first series going into the quarterfinals, which gives us 4 really interesting matchups. Once again, I'm going to jump around these series pretty quick. We'll start in Philadelphia for the Eagles and Packers. Starting off the quarterfinals, the Eagles will start strong, winning 28-14. Same goes for the Lions, as they'll win their Game 1 24-16. And Joe Burrow and the Bengals only put up 6 points, losing Game 1 to the Ravens. But how about Buffalo, as they'll walk into Kansas City and steal Game 1, winning by 7 points. Now for our Game 2s, Green Bay will steal one, going back to Lambeau Field. The Niners will not, however, as the Lions will take a 2-0 series lead. The Cincinnati Bengals will even the series up at 1 apiece, and so will the Chiefs as the series shift back to Buffalo. So we have 3 series tied at 1 and 1 series with a 2-0 lead. Let's go to our Game 3s and 4s. Looks like the Packers will take a 2-1 series lead, winning Game 3 here in Lambeau. Well, damn, the Lions win Game 3 and here in San Francisco. Is it time to bring out the brooms? The Ravens offense had a field day against this Bengals defense. They put up 45 points to win Game 3. The Bills strike back in Game 3 against the Kansas City Chiefs. They're now up to a 2-1 series lead. The Eagles will strike back in Game 4, tying the series at 2, going back to Philadelphia. The Niners will survive the sweep, however. They're going to win 18-15. And now Baltimore wins both games on the road in Cincinnati, bringing them to a 3-1 series lead. And Kansas City will drop both road games in Buffalo as well. They're now down to a 3-1 deficit. And as we approach the Game 5s, going back to the higher seeds home, we have 3-1 series. Only 1 series tied up 2 between the Philadelphia Eagles and Green Bay Packers. We can see some teams' run come to a close here, so let's go back to Philadelphia for our Game 5. The Eagles will win Game 5, putting them in a position to close out this series in Green Bay in Game 6. There will not be a Game 6 for the Lions, however. They'll be the first team that punches their way to the conference semifinals. Same go for the Ravens. They're moving on. The Bengals defense could only handle so much of Lamar Jackson. They get it done in 6. Kansas City's not done yet. If they want to force a Game 7, they have to go win Game 6 in Buffalo. 2 of the 4 punch cards have been filled. The Lions are moving on and the Ravens are moving on. Now who will meet them? Can the Packers force the Game 7? Can the Chiefs force the Game 7? Let's find out now. To answer that question, yes, the Packers will force a Game 7 in Philadelphia. Can the Chiefs do the same? And as always, the Chiefs find a way. There will be a Game 7 in Kansas City. And once again, 2 Game 7s to accomplish. We'll go to Philadelphia. First, the 2 Game 7s, the Eagles trail by 2 points. They gotta stay in field goal range here, but Jalen Hurts will go down to the 35-yard line for a 4th and 19. I'd say this is just shy of a 50-yard kick for Jake Elliott, and he banks it off the post. No good. Packers take over. Eagles are not done yet. They just gotta keep the Packers out of the end zone. Jordan Love has way too much time to throw the football, so he's gonna run for it instead, and he picks up around 15 yards to the 40 in Eagles territory. Well, this is exactly what I was talking about. If the Eagles can get a 3rd down stop here, they'll force the Packers to kick a field goal. It's gonna be a handoff. No, Jordan Love will keep it himself. He has good protection. He's gonna run for it again, and he picks up the first down. Third and short. Will they be able to stuff the line? Jacobs takes the handoff. They're playing pass coverage, and they end up giving up a touchdown, and this game will be over. I don't know what the hell happened, but this game got ugly real quick. The Packers are now up 43-21, and they're moving on after winning Game 7. Another interception. Now for our Game 7 in Kansas City. Josh Allen needs a 78-yard touchdown drive, down by 6 points, goes to James Conner in the flat, who runs to around the 27. This will set up a 3rd down and 5 for Buffalo. Play action. Allen almost intercepted, and they're going to have to go for this. And this would essentially be game if they cannot get this. Giving the ball back to Kansas City. Josh Allen gets it off somehow. What was that animation? He was getting sacked while throwing that to Keon Coleman. In no way in real life would that be a possible pass to complete, getting that hit hard from the back. Josh Allen escapes the pocket, and now he's going to run for a gain of 9 yards. Only 30 seconds remaining now. They have one more timeout. Josh Allen, he's going to run for it again. He's going to stay in bounds, however, and does not go towards the sideline. He slides. They use their final timeout. Now only 13 seconds remaining. They better use the sidelines here for 3rd down and 10. James Cook takes play action fake, and this is a 1st down catch out of bounds to the 2 with 8 seconds. So this is it. Final play. Josh Allen, is he going to run for it? Has to beat one defender. He does. Touchdown. The Bills can take the lead with an extra point. And now to win the game, Tyler Bass. Oh, there's a flag. It was roughing the kicker, so the Bills declined it. They're going to win Game 7 in Kansas City 25-24. So now we've made it to the conference semifinals with the Packers playing the Lions and the Ravens playing the Bills. We'll start from Detroit. Our first semifinal game goes to the Detroit Lions 27-13, and the Buffalo Bills will open up the AFC semifinals with a win. Green Bay comes equipped with a response. They tie the series at 1. So will the Ravens with a 2-score win. And now we're moving to Green Bay and Buffalo in both of our series, where the Lions on the road will improve to 2-1 in this series. But the Bills will get a Game 3 home victory, winning by 1 touchdown. Whereas in Lambeau, the Packers lost both their home games. The Lions take a 3-1 series lead. Won't be the case in Buffalo, however. The Ravens will tie this series up at 2. Well, we could see one of the semifinals come to a close right here in Detroit for game number 5 if the Lions can take care of business, which they will not. The Packers will force a Game 6. Now the Bills will go up to a 3-2 lead. They can bring this home to Buffalo and win it. Now will anybody close it out in 6, or will we have to see 7? And how about the Detroit Lions, who went on the road 3 times to Green Bay, won all 3 of the games? They're moving on to the NFL Finals. And the Buffalo Bills will also close it out in 6. And just like that, we have our NFL Finals matchup. Detroit Lions and the Buffalo Bills, which honestly sounds like this year's potential Super Bowl matchup. The Buffalo Bills had a better regular season record, so they get home positioning first. We're going to go to Buffalo for Game 1. This is Game 1 in the NFL Finals. Can the Lions get a touchdown drive starting to Amon-Ra St. Brown to the 45? And look at this. Sam Laporta is off to the races, and he is tackled at the pylon. It's a touchdown for the Lions. It was almost like a wheel route they put Sam Laporta in, and this is how they find the lead here in Buffalo. Josh Allen takes over, and he throws an interception. The Lions will get a pick 6, and I think they're going to take Game 1 away. Bills get a garbage time touchdown, but the Lions will take Game 1. It's a different story in Game 2. Can the Bills end it here with a touchdown? Josh Allen, as he does best, runs for the end zone. The Bills take a 2-score lead and should even this series up. And so we're tied up at 1 going back to Detroit. Looks like Buffalo's trying to spoil Detroit's home opener here in the NFL Finals. Josh Allen again. This is all he does apparently, and it works. They take a lead with this touchdown. Do the Lions have any chance to respond? This is a catch made inside the 15. If he could have broken one more tackle, they could have been a touchdown to Patrick. This is the final play. 2 seconds now down the 0. Jared Goff has to find the end zone. He's going backwards. A sack to end the game. Buffalo takes a 2-1 series lead. Well, after a very long overtime period, thankfully the Lions will come out on top. They did not want to go down 3-1. Here's a field goal kick to bring them to a victory to tie the series up at 2, going back to Buffalo, winning 30-27. Well, unless Buffalo can somehow find points out of this drive with no timeouts, and now Josh Allen goes down in the end zone. Okay, they'll roll him at the 1. Well, anyways, it's looking like it's going to be 3-2 lead for the Lions. It's a fumble. Scoop and score. The Lions will take more points on the board to make it 22-14. So the Lions are going back to Detroit with a chance to end it here with a 3-2 series lead. I guess the Bills weren't messing around. They want to force a Game 7 in Buffalo. Now the Lions are on their heels for our final game. We've made it to Game 7. It's all or nothing for both of these teams in a very weird score. 10-5. Am I watching the World Series? Now Josh Allen has been clutch all day. They need to be clutch right here. 3rd and 6. Off his back hood. Play is made on defense. What a deflection for 4th and 6 by Brian Branch. Well, they're going to have to punt the football to the Lions. Their defense is only held on the 10 points, so I wouldn't be too worried at this point. Will Buffalo get the football back, or will the Lions ice this game? It's a screen pass. Does he have the blockers? Jahmyr Gibbs gets tackled short. 4th and 6. Buffalo needs a legacy drive from Josh Allen. That's a great start. Dalton Kincaid, could he go all the way? Not if the safeties catch up to him to the 32-yard line, but they have to run up to the line with 1:30 remaining. Brian Branch was on coverage there. Now Josh Allen in some trouble. He stiff arms his defender. What is he doing? Get rid of the football. He throws it off his back foot, and he's intercepted, but there's a flag. Intercepted the 1-yard line. We'll see what the marker is, as this is going to be taken down to the 22. There's no way this is pass interference, right? It's pass interference? I didn't see anything there. That ball was thrown right to Terrion Arnold. Well, maybe the foul came up somewhere else, because I don't think Arnold came up with that. But now Josh Allen is going to get sacked. This is going to lose a lot of time. He loses 6 yards, 2nd and goal. The refs can't bail you out if you take sacks this late in the game. 30 seconds remaining. Josh Allen, is he going to run for it again? He looks like he wants to. He shovel passes it to James Cook, and he's in the end zone. The Bills take a lead with 23 seconds. Judging on how this 4th quarter has gone so far, I think you need to get this 2-point conversion, because the Bills could definitely give up a field goal, and now it's a field goal difference. Well, can Jared Goff get in field goal range with this one final play? Sam Laporta catches it at the 44. They burn their final timeout, and it looks like it's Hail Mary time, but maybe the refs can bail him out with a pass interference here to give him a field goal. It's thrown up towards the right sideline, and it's a touchdown. The Lions win Game 7 in a walk-off. Are you serious? I have never seen anything like this. A Hail Mary towards the right sideline. Usually the Bills will stack up coverage, but there was only 2 on them. They were just playing single coverage, Tim Patrick's in. And the Lions will win the NFL Finals in the craziest way possible. That might seriously be the craziest Madden game I have ever experienced, and it's only fitting that it happened in a Game 7 in the NFL Finals, where the Lions are going to win 4-3. That will bring a fitting end to today's video, and before you go, I'm going to show you some superlatives of everything that happened throughout this 82-game season and playoffs. So now for our superlatives. Obviously, our champion, the NFL Final winners, it was the Detroit Lions. They had a playoff record of 16-7. Our MVP went to Joe Burrow. Our Rookie of the Year went to Jaden Daniels. Who had the best record? It was the Baltimore Ravens, who were 64-18. Still couldn't get it done, however. The worst record was actually a 2-way tie between the Panthers and Raiders, I believe, but I gave it to the Raiders here because they were the first team to be mathematically eliminated. The most surprising team today, I think, was the Cincinnati Bengals. They went 49-33, which is not amazing, but it's definitely a lot better than what they're conveying in real life right now. They also made it past the first round, which is pretty cool. The most disappointing, however, I'm going to give it to the Minnesota Vikings, who finished 31-51, did not make the playoffs. That is not an accurate showing of how they're playing in today's standards. Our finals MVP is just going to be Jared Goff, and our offensive player of the year is going to be Amon-Ra St. Brown. And in total, throughout the playoffs, including in the entire regular season, there was a total of 1,318 simulated games to complete the 82-game season and the finals playoff bracket. Well, that concludes probably one of the most eventful videos I've ever had to make. Now, this video took 3 weeks for a lot of reasons. First of all, yes, I caught a cold. That kind of sucked. Also, for whatever reason, my lights broke. I had to get some replacements there, and then my mic, for whatever reason, stopped working midway through. I don't know. So I apologize with how long this video took. I also wanted to top the standards I met with the 162-game season. I knew it was going to be a lot to make this video after I made that video, and it was so well received because I'm playing less games, but I think I did everything I could to make this video as high quality as possible, and hopefully you enjoyed it because it took me a long time, so I'd appreciate any support you guys can leave on this video. That being said, thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe because we're getting close to 100K. We just hit 90K last night. I'm so excited for that, and I'll see you guys later.